And 3, 2, 1. Hey, John, how you doing?
Good, man. What's up, everybody?
All 6 people.
All 6 people, and we love you.
We do. Please don't leave us.
Don't leave.
Yeah, man. So as everybody knows, as I said in our last video, that we fucked up. I fucked up, and I lost you, and we couldn't hear you talk. So hopefully this works this time. But yeah, so we got we're gonna do a slightly different setup here. Instead of just reading off articles, we're gonna try one more setup where it's just gonna be me and you talking about a subject. So today we're gonna try to talk about how do you think these riots are gonna end? If the election was held today, who do you think would win? And then is the media biased? That one's probably going to be a short one. That's why it's at the end. But first off, I do want to do what me and John have been doing is the funny story or interesting story. So I'll let you go first with that, John.
Right on. My story this week comes from UPI, and this is actually just was released today at 12:23. I saw it come across. It's entitled "Goat Steals Eats Mail Outside of Alabama Home," and it actually has a video in this on this article. If you go to UPI and under it's their odd and funny news, but yeah, there's a video of a goat literally opening the mailbox and eating the mail. Why I think this is particularly funny is because this I felt like hit too close to home to one of our good friends. When Aaron and myself, best friends, he never got his stimulus check, and I'm gonna bet that this damn goat has it in his stomach somewhere. Just so if you haven't gotten your stimulus check,
that's why.
Probably go to the zoo, and you'll find it in a pile of shit.
Speaking of which, we keep saying we're gonna do this. Shout out to our bud. We're not gonna name his name or anything, for his own protection. Because he's gonna get mobbed if we drop his name. He's living down in Florida right now, living the dream.
Living the COVID dream.
Yeah, he's stuck at a college and can't get out essentially. But hey, man, we're thinking about you every day. Keep your head up. I'm proud of you. I know this is one step closer to your dream job, so hey, man, keep it up. Love you. On that note, depressing.
Kleenex.
Yeah. I don't have any stories, unfortunately. I haven't had time this week. I got cursed, whatever you want to call it, threatened.
Oh.
I put a boot on somebody's car. It's awesome.
Solid work, man.
There's one article I want to start off before we do dig into this with you, because you and me, whenever we do have the random 5 minutes of free time that we do have, we like playing video games. One of the games we used to love playing was Call of Duty.
Oh, classic.
Modern Warfare. You and me grew up on that and would stay up way too late and chugging Mountain Dews and cold tacos off of the floor. So last week, Call of Duty, the new trailer came out for Black Ops. It's Cold War, which I think is going to be fun. I have to still play this new one, but I also think the Cold War is a very interesting time period for us as a nation. But this kind of leads into the media bias thing we'll talk about later. But Call of Duty, and I watched the trailer when it first came out. It was cold chills and everything. I was like, "Ooh, this is awesome! This is awesome!" Because I can't remember who it is, but it's. If you want to look up the trailer, I won't play it because we'll get copyrighted and stuff right away.
Okay.
But
No bueno.
yeah, it's called Know Your History, Call of Duty Black Ops. I can't remember who the gentleman is who's talking, but I think he's like he was like a traitor to the Russians or something. I could be completely wrong. But it's called Know Your History, right? It's hilarious because in the trailer, there's like they do these flashes of like Cold War era stuff, like Soviets, tanks charging through Vietnam and all that stuff. But there's in the trailer was, I should say, glimpses of Tiananmen Square in China, and I think protests in China, and they removed it because China asked them to. Or they wouldn't allow. Essentially, what they were saying was, what I think is, if you don't remove this, we won't allow you to sell your game in China. So overnight, Call of Duty went in there, removed the Tiananmen Square, and it's so funny. Like, it is like, if you blink, you'll miss it. It's like 2 seconds in the trailer, not even.
Nothing about it would make you like.
Oh yeah.
Draw the connection between it's China and.
I mean, again, if you know your history, like I remember.
Yes.
In high school, we had, it was like a day, because I know if you guys still have history class, I don't know if some schools I don't even think have history class anymore. It's like a day, because it's towards the end of your semester, and you're just the teacher has to, like, okay, we have to get as far as possible. Like, we only have a couple more days. Yeah, and it's just like, it's like a blip again in that history class. But if you know your history, it's a very important day in Chinese history, because it was the citizens standing up to the communist regime, and of course communist China doesn't like that. And they, over there's like, you can't find anything about Tiananmen Square. So there's actually college kids here that if I were to go up and ask them, like, hey, do you know about Tiananmen Square? They'd be like, what's that? Yeah, Tiananmen Square is like this beautiful place in China, and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, no, like the Tiananmen Square massacre, where they ran over a dude with a tank. There's video of it, here it is. And they'd be like, my government never did that. That's how brainwashed they are. Not brainwashed, but they don't have that information.
Censored.
Yeah, they're very
highly
censored. Yeah. But yeah, no, I just thought it was like, I follow game news as well, because I have a lot of stock in some of these, and I have stock in Activision. And their profits are up and everything, as usual. But it's them bowing to China a bit. I don't like that. I don't think they should, I don't know what you think, how you feel about it.
What I wish they'd bow to is bow to me and get a better freaking server, so when I play Warzone, that it would connect better.
Right?
But, I mean, nothing like, hey, I'm aiming over here, but my gun's over here. That helps me.
How's that work? Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't like get me to the top 20 is what it doesn't do.
You and me have to do that too sometime.
Yeah. Stop being lame.
I still gotta do that, where's my dog barking? Age of Empires too.
I'm still waiting. I'm just over here,
I don't know.
Someone's too busy booting cars.
I don't want to say anything else, because I probably shouldn't get into that.
It's better. I didn't say that. That didn't happen.
But yeah. So I just wanted, that's my semi-interesting. If they kind of feel like shitty.
That is interesting. I didn't even notice that until you sent me that link, and I read the article. I thought it was very interesting.
It's like somebody just noticed that the next day they watched the trailer again, and they're like, oh wait, I don't know how they figured it out, but that's sad. It is sad that they're, because unfortunately they did this for Marvel too. I know you're not the hugest Marvel fan, but do you remember? Did you ever watch Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the monk, the lady, she's she was supposed to be a Tibetan monk, but instead they made her a Celtic monk.
Oh.
But because same thing in China.
Too many feathers.
Yeah, it's the China.
Hey, dog's barking.
I know. Yeah. So what was I saying? Marvel. So Marvel changed their movie to kind of kowtow to the Chinese government so they could have their movie distributed. Because I believe that might have been the first Marvel movie distributed over in China.
Gotcha.
So it was like a big deal for them. Yeah. It's a shame because we've been seeing. I've seen a little bit more with other games. Yeah, kind of sucks.
Yeah, you can see how certain influences make changes in games.
Yeah, there's like I could be. Don't quote me on this, but it's like they only tolerate like a certain amount of blood, and also ghosts. They have a problem with ghosts. I can't. It's ghosts or skeletons, something like that. Yeah. So like I can't remember what game it was, but they had to change their like an enemy type from a ghost to or like a skeleton to a ghost or a ghost to a skeleton, something like that. So it's like yeah, I know.
Weird.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's it. But anyway, so instead of us going through article by article, I don't know if I feel this works a little bit better, because I think this will. I have a feeling just going off of you and me, we might stick to this. So anyway, so the question I had today was, how do you think the riots are going to end? Because we're on day 90 something, I think, now. Yeah. And I don't know.
It's a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's like it's about 3 months
Very long time.
Rioting and stuff in all these other cities. And last week we had the kids shoot those 3 rioters, and then we had rioters to kill a Trump supporter this past weekend. I don't know if you saw that.
I caught a little bit, like a little blip about it. But
yeah. So, what do you think?
How they will end? A part of me says, kind of like previous riots, does it just kind of fizzle out? Like, does it just kind of like I feel like everything gets all cranked up and everybody goes crazy and it kind of slowly fizzles out, and you've seen that throughout the years like countless times. The difference, I would say, the biggest difference I think is that like with all the other world events going on, like, and just especially like where we're at like politically and just with this whole COVID thing, like tensions are still so freaking high. Like people being unemployed, people not, like it's like poverty, all that kind of stuff is just like.
And to actually support your point here real quick, there was another riot in Minnesota. Was it Monday or Sunday? It was over the weekend, I believe, and it was because somebody said the police shot another black person. Turns out it was the police were trying to get this guy who was robbing somebody or had robbed, and then he shot himself instead of getting caught. And then what happened was somebody heard about it and they lied, and they said, "Oh, the police shot somebody else," and they just started rioting again. Even though the police did nothing wrong, it was the guy shot himself, and there's literally a security camera like showing him doing it. But yeah, sorry, continue.
No, it's just like, and stuff like that. Like,
yeah,
everybody is just so. If they can't get the narrative they want, they change
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Oh.
they make their own narrative. They'll make their own facts. They'll make their own videos. They'll
Right.
kind of like.
And that kind of goes into the media. See, a lot of stuff has to do with media bias, and I think that 100%, you're 100% right. I think this does go with the media bias thing. Continue. Sorry.
Oh no, you're fine.
Yeah.
But it's just like any story. I mean, you can tell me in 8 words something, and as long as you put those words together in the correct order and spin it, it doesn't have anything to do with the actual story, or any of the facts from the actual incident. Like you can spin it that way, and again, going back to the media, that's they're freaking masters at doing that. They've perfected that. Like that's all they do.
Mm-hmm. No, 100%. It's like you said. If they don't like the facts, they kind of change it for themselves. So I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head, but he was the one that was just shot in Wisconsin, right? That's what set off these brand new riots in Wisconsin. The dude he had a warrant out for his arrest. He actually went back to he sexually assaulted a 15 or 14-year-old, and where they shot him was actually at the victim's house. He was stealing keys from the victim for their car or whatever, and the police had been called. That's why they were there. So I don't know if you remember, but I saw this. I believe it was early last week. Yeah, because the kid shot those 3 people on Tuesday. But that very short clip came out where it showed him walking away, getting into his car, or opening the car door, and that's where the cops shot him in the back. Right. So all you saw was that little clip, and it was 100% to spin a narrative that cops are shooting black people.
Correct.
When it turns out later, as the rest of the video came out, that the police had used 2 tasers apparently on him. It didn't work. He had a knife on him or in the car. And even when I saw that video, I was kind of thinking, okay, like, he's reaching into the car, he's not complying. Like, when you're reaching into a car, the cops don't know what you're reaching for.
Correct.
Right. So it could be a knife, could be a gun. So honestly, I thought they had the right to do that. And then when it turns out he's had sexual assault allegations. I don't know if allegations or it was already proven. He was at the victim's house. It's like, okay, this is a no-brainer. Like, this shouldn't be national news, kind of thing. And that's just going off. That's 100% proof of what you were saying. That the media and yeah, it's just, I think, using this.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
And I think the Black Lives organization as well, and Antifa.
They all use it to their advantage.
Yeah, and I think that the scary part is that they're using. I'm sure there are actual legit. Like, this is just a bad example for them. I don't know how else to say it. Like, they're really pushing the envelope on this one. And I it's hard to say, because after going on Facebook, which is a cesspool, like, it's a hard place to go to. If you ever go on there and you just read comments, because I'll do that, kind of try to, like, kind of try to give myself a poll of like what people are thinking about.
Right.
You'll see that there are a lot of people who thought that was not a good kill, who thought the cops were in the wrong, who thought they should have used non-lethal. This is before all the other evidence came out. But they're like, these cops should die. You know, you're seeing all this crazy stuff like that. And unfortunately, I think Black Lives Matter, the media, Antifa, they're already considered, for at least myself, a terrorist organization. But they're just using this to their advantage to fuel the fire, so they can keep rioting and destroying.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. You sound like. Oh. I'm sorry. I have to update.
That's what it is.
Yeah, I have to update.
I didn't want to say it over here in case it was like.
No, you're good. I have to update my NVIDIA Shield thing. It's supposed to cancel that out, and it hasn't been. I'm not sure why, because I think might be using the camera mic, not this mic.
Gotcha.
Let's fix that. Sorry. Thank you.
No, you're good. I was just like, so because I did hate to have the whole thing go through, and then you're like,
Yeah.
yeah. What?